Well guys, I've finally gone and done it. I've dropped the cake. Everybody's been obsessed with these drip cakes, and I've been seeing some cool Instagrammers creating amazing effects with the drips going the wrong way, and I thought, why not push it a little bit further and just drop that baby. This is so much fun to make, and I'm really excited to share this one with you. So let me show you exactly how it's made. So the very first thing that I went ahead and did is a couple of days ago, I made this cake board to make it look like a floor. We want it to look like this cake just toppled straight down, smash onto the floorboards. So I went ahead and did this in a really pale shade of brown, added some Tylose, and then gave it this groove effect. I've marked where the center of the board is, and then I'm using a small cookie cutter to just cut out some excess fondant. I then came back and painted in some ivory and some brown, getting into all of those grooves, and then doing a full coat over the entire thing. I let that set overnight and then came back with a mix of black and brown and did the exact same thing all over again. Now it's rested for a full 24 hours, so we can go ahead and start making the rest of our cake. Now I've gone ahead and baked 6 cakes here. I have 2 6-inch rounds, 2 8s and 2 10s, and I've added all the details for you below on the recipes and the amounts to get that. I've also made up a huge batch. I have a whole pile of frosting here. It's our sweet buttercream recipe, and I've tinted it in turquoise Americolor food color. I have a large dowel that I'm going to be using on the cake because we want to make sure that this is really structurally sound. So I've drilled a hole into the top of it already. I have a screw. I also have 3 cake plates, 6, 8 and 10 inch again, with holes cut in it through with a drill. To make things a little bit easier, I also have 5, 7 and 9 inch round cake plates. And I have a huge 14-inch round cake board that I'm going to be using to place on top of our cake to create that smashed effect. We're also going to use a small round cookie cutter, a knife to cut out some of our excess cake, a spatula and a scraper. Now I make sure that my cakes chill for around 6 hours or overnight so that they're nice and firm, and it makes it so much easier to carve them. I'm using a cake leveler, but you can also check out our other tutorials for how you can layer this by hand. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take each layer of my cake, place it underneath our plate, and then mark out a little X, remove that, and just push down with your cookie cutter. It's much easier to do it now than to try to carve it out later. So we're going to go ahead and do that to all of our layers. And that way when we thread the cakes through the dowel, we won't have a whole pile of cake fluffing out all over the place. Now we're going to take some of our buttercream and attach our cake to the board. Looks like a little donuts or bagels. Kind of looks like bagels. And then add a beautiful filling layer to each and every cake. Scrape off the excess. And then we're going to pop this into the fridge for at least 10 to 15 minutes to set up. The next step I want to do is just shave down the sides of the cakes. I do this so that it stays within the framework of our cake board, and so that when you cut it, it's perfectly level, even slices. I work on the bottom half first, and then grab some parchment paper and flip it over. Now I come up underneath and just shave down that top layer. And then you guessed it, it's another trip to the fridge. Now the first step to this is applying a crumb coat to the entire cake. You're just trying to get enough on there to seal in those cake crumbs. Once that's set up, it's time to take our smaller cake plates, place them upside down on top of the cake, and this is just going to be a way to hold onto the cake a little bit easier so that your hands don't get messy, and then it's going to be super helpful when it's time to start applying that drizzle. grab our scraper and just scrape it back until it's nice and smooth, and you can see that cake board. Now take this board off and then just scrape the excess into the center. While those cakes are chilling in the fridge, it's time to get started on the ganache. So I have some cream, white chocolate, I also have a whisk and a spatula, some pink food color to make it super cute, and a toothpick and gloves. Now what you want to do for this is a 2-to-1 ratio. If you want to see me make this ganache, be sure to check out this card right up here and it will take you to the recipe. Now we can pour the cream over the chocolate and just give it about a minute before you start stirring it at all. Now I'm going to start to combine them. Just gentle movements. And then whisk it all together. Once you know that it's got no lumps in it, you can go ahead and add your colour. Get the glove on right. I'm using 2 shades of pink. And you'll find that you can add colour directly into ganache, whereas you normally can't do that with just chocolate because the cream has a high fat content. And then to help give it a more opaque look, I'm going to add some whitener. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it has a shine to it and it just gets rid of that translucency. I've gone ahead and placed my ganache into a squeegee bottle, and I'm going to take the smaller cake plate again. So you can touch the cake a little bit because it is nice and firm, and you're going to use that to rest the cake onto. If you want to make one a bit longer, just add a bit more. And then you just want to come along and just do a little bit at the very edge just to join them together. So now I'm just going to slide this off and then place this into the fridge. Now our cakes are about 3.5 inches high. So what I want to do is take our dowel and go ahead and just mark up about 9.5 inches. So that gives us a spare inch, and that way the dowel doesn't go all the way through. Then I've got some conduit cutters and then cut on an angle. Now I'm going to take the board, just start to thread the screw through and then screw that in with a screwdriver. Now we can come along and thread our dowel through. Now I'm going to apply a little bit of buttercream to my board, or you can apply royal icing. Now I'm going to grab my cake, flip it over, not so scary, and take off that board. Now I find it's easier if you use 2 hands. Thread that through and then ready? Drop. Easiest way, I swear. We're going to apply some dowels into it. Again with the conduit cutters, line up just below your marking, and then use that to measure your others. Pop all 4 of our dowels in, apply a little bit of buttercream, and then apply our second one. Go ahead and seal up that hole. Apply a little bit more frosting and grab our board. And now it's time to create that full-on splattered effect. I have lots of things from macarons to chocolates, got marshmallows and popcorn. I love coloured popcorn. Sorry, don't really want to smash the Mac, but has to be done. Pop some onto the cake. And there you are, guys. We have our drop cake. No, it wasn't dropped on purpose, but it still looks pretty cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to subscribe to our channel. We have new videos on Tuesdays. We have lots going on our website, so be sure to check that out. If you'd like to see more cool cakes, head on over and check out this playlist as well.